Makers la mette in mezzo, bella tiro, gol! Luka Modric ha segnato Luka, ecco il gol del maestro.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode. Good start, a great start. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the SempreMilan podcast. I'm your host Oli Fisher, joined once again by Anthony Torgrud.
Yeah, I was gonna try to intentionally mess up my intro. It's harder to intentionally mess up, I think, than to just naturally do it. But I'm here again. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good to have us two back again, putting Steph in his rightful place on the bench. I'm up front with a forward pairing. What would Steph be in this case? Nkunku, I guess, bless him. But yeah, back after missing the main pod last week, where you guys obviously dissected the Juve game, did a great job with that. My thoughts on it are just what you two said, basically, so no need to dive back into that one. But we've got a kind of quieter episode, and I say quieter, I mean, we've got no game to recap, and we've got the one game to preview, albeit it is quite an interesting one. You know, there's some layers to this game coming up against Fiorentina that we are going to take a look at. But before we go into the episode in full, we've got a new founding member to shout out. Quite like this. I like our new way of doing things. So in case you missed it, we're now putting the Substack founding members. Check out the Substack. I'm going to display an ad in a minute, but go check it out. The founding members along the bottom in the live ticker. And we've got Eves to add to the list. Eves Luthi, I think would be how I'd go about the pronunciation there. Eves, if I've got it wrong, please let us know. But yeah, appreciate you joining the gang there along the bottom. You can see all the names. I've read them out for a while now, but we think this is a more sustainable way of doing things. So yeah, here's the Substack. I've got a little visual to display. And this is the kind of thing that you can expect if you go and sign up. As a reminder, you can try 7 days for free. And if you like what you see, then you can, of course, continue subscription paid from there. It's $5 per month or $50 for the year in euros or dollars. I believe it's the same. The most recent bonus podcast that we did was a bit of a, not a debate because we were on the same side with it, but we picked apart the decision to go and play the Como game out in Australia. We did a pros and cons list. One list was way longer than the other, you know, which is natural. But of course, go check that out. The newsletter was kind of centered around the same topic, and that is the UEFA decision to allow the game to be played out there, along with the Barcelona-Villarreal game being played out in Miami. The precedents that are set by it, and yeah, the reaction that there's been since. Isaac's most recent bonus article. Rossoneri rewards how Milan's new initiative compares to other clubs. He takes a look at a specific aspect of Milan's marketing to see whether the fans are getting true value. I'd recommend going and reading that one because it was quite an interesting. It doesn't always get covered in the mainstream, you know, like how fans are represented and the offers and rewards that you get. So yeah, it takes a look on a bit of a comparison with some rival teams also. Then you've got the main podcast there and the most recent pub chat where Lorenzo and Stefano took stock of the season so far, department by department, which areas are working, the best signings so far, the areas that need to improve. And that is what you get over on the Substack. Shall we talk about our one game for the week?
There it is.
And little disclaimer here, little peek behind the curtain. We're recording this on Saturday as opposed to our usual Monday or Tuesday recording time. The reason being that I am going away to Latvia to go and watch England, so unable to record again early in a week. It's all my fault. But that means there could be things that happen between now and this going live on Monday. One of the issues that has come to light is that Pervis Stupinian went off with an ankle injury during Ecuador's game against the United States last night. Lasted 44 minutes and had to be substituted because of a bit of discomfort. And then on the flip side to that, same part of the body, ankle, but there was a bit of panic about Christian Pulisic because Pochettino said in the build-up to the game that he'd been struggling with an ankle injury. that he actually sustained in pre-season. It's kind of as we all thought. That knock that he took in one of the friendlies has sort of still plaguing him. Apparently it was swollen and there were doubts about whether he'd play in that game, but he came on in the last 20 minutes, I think it was, in a 1-1 draw. Aside from that, I don't think there's any injuries that have come during the internationals, which is always good. Let's get the boys back while they're healthy. Other good bits of news include Salamanca's now a starter for Belgium. Ruben Loftus-Cheek made his first England appearance in 7 years, and I was there.
Oh, he played well.
Yeah,
cool.
He did.
How'd he do?
He played as a number 10. I think the thing to watch with him there is that I think Thomas Tuchel really likes him, and from their time together at Chelsea, obviously, and he kind of played him as an 8 moving into a 10. Sort of preferred him going forwards rather than going backwards. And yeah, he came on and played there. His stats were actually pretty good. He completed all of his passes. I think he won 1 of 3 duels, but it's quite tough to gauge what that really means. But the problem is that we were 3-0 up after 22 minutes, so like the game was kind of done, and he brought on sort of the entire C string of players. So it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best litmus test, shall we say, but hopefully he gets a few more minutes out in Latvia on Tuesday night. What else have we got? Francesco Camada became the youngest ever scorer for Italy's under-21s. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. We tweeted the video. It was a Panenka penalty. He won the penalty, dusted himself down from 12 yards. Yeah, just dropped it down the middle. Lovely goal. And I feel like this... Oh, Rabiot scored a header for France.
Oh, nice.
3-0 win over Azerbaijan. Put them 2-0 up. It was an Mbappe cross, and he rose like a salmon at the back post and nodded it down. So, yeah.
A little peek inside for the listeners. I just learned about all those games right now.
You didn't have to admit that, but I think your reaction kind of gave it away when you were like, oh, nice.
Well, when you said Stupignon got hurt playing the USA, I was like, USA played? I didn't even know we were playing. I mean, look, I'll give you a little peek inside my my real life outside of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I know this will come as a surprise to a lot of people, but my day job is also within the sport. So the international break, I try to just stay away. And I still have a lot of soccer-related things I have to do. But sometimes you just need a break, man. And so I take them when I get them. And it's only a week, and that's why I never pay attention to international unless it's, of course, an actual competition like the World Cup, the Euros, Gold Cup, whatever it may be. So nice.
Yeah,
good to know the boys are doing well, though.
They are doing well. There's other stuff in there as well, like Modric is still starting games at 40. I think he's on like 190 Croatia caps now or something. Just crazy. Wow. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, we had 15 internationals called up over this break. Now, I suppose it's a little bit of a concern. Apart from that, they're all 13 of the 15 are European. So, but then our starting front 2 are on long-haul flights.
Nice.
You're right, because it's 12 of 15, because there's Jimenez, Estupinian, and Pulisic. So, yeah, we had the most call-ups of any Serie A team, and that's a big contrast to where it was sort of a year ago when we were having 7, 8 players called up because so many of them were out of form. So while there's a negative that we've got 19 outfield players. So that's basically 2/3 of the squad have jetted off. So it's bare bones at Milanello, right? But
we have 15 players on international duty and only 18 in the squad. What's going on at Milanello?
It's 20. I guess it's 23 if you include goalkeepers. But we've got 19 outfield players, 15 when you include Maignan. Have gone. Yeah, it's wild. But I think when you get more international call-ups, it can often be a good sign because it means you're doing well and it means your players
are confident. You believe?
Yeah, Leao went. Yeah,
that's I think he needs to get more rest.
Yeah, I think they play tonight. Could be wrong. Let's look at tonight's games. So we've got Bulgaria, Turkey, no interest.
Yeah, Portugal, Ireland.
Portugal, Ireland. Yeah. I don't think he's predicted to start. He's been starting Pedro Neto on the left side, and obviously Cristiano's got the up front spot, and then there's Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva. So I don't think Leao will start. Be good if we could limit his minutes because, Although I don't mind him playing 2 30-minute cameos just to get a bit of match sharpness back, especially if he's going to be thrown straight into the team against Fiorentina. Let's do Fiorentina now, eh? Our old pal, Mr. Stefano Pioli, came back during the summer transfer window. I suppose it is the summer transfer window.
Technically,
yeah. Came back during the summer to coach Fiorentina, the club that he had been at before, in a spell that I suppose was mixed in terms of results previously, but of course he's best known for him being the custodian during the tragic passing of Davide Astori. So it's a club that he holds very dear to his heart for obvious reasons. It felt like a good fit, did this to me on paper, because I think Pioli is, barring the sort of couple of seasons with Milan where I think we can all acknowledge that there was a bit of an overachievement there. He has been a career Europa League spot manager, to just try and push like the 6th, 7th, 8th places, a couple of good finishes with Lazio. And then, as I say, with us, he had his best time without a doubt. Went out to Saudi Arabia, didn't do particularly well. He's come back to some home comforts. And I say home comforts, it's been a home nightmares so far for him.
I'm surprised he didn't get sacked, honestly.
Yeah, there's talk of it already. There's talk of him needing a result to save his job. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about the summer business first. In terms of transfers in, you've got Fagioli from Juventus becoming a permanent because of the obligation to buy. They signed Albert Gudmundsson from Genoa. Again, that was a loan made permanent. Robin Gosens, loan made permanent from Union Berlin for €7 million. And then the 3 new players that they spent fees on, Roberto Piccoli, the striker from Cagliari, for €25 million. I mean, that to me that's a crazy amount of money for him. I mean, he's okay. Like, there's some upside with him, but he's 24. It's not like he's a 20-year-old who set the league alight, But I don't know. Maybe as a backup to Moise Kean, who I guess we'll come on to. Simon, I guess it's Simon Sohm from Parma for €15 million. Now, I actually like him. I think he's a pretty good midfielder. And then Jacopo Fazzini from Empoli, local rivals Empoli, for €10 million after their relegation. So, there's Edin Dzeko came on a free from Fenerbahce. That didn't surprise me one bit. I always thought Dzeko might end up back in Serie A, and Pioli had revealed that he tried to sign him for Milan when he was leaving Roma, but of course he ended up at Inter, and the rest is history, I guess. San Matteo Viti on a loan with option to buy from Nice. But the sales, they cashed in on Nico Gonzalez, who went to Juve for nearly 30 mil. Kayode went to Brentford, 17.5 mil. Amrabat to Fenerbahce, 12 mil. Those are all loans made permanent or to be made permanent. Of course, we signed Pietro Terracciano from them. But just a Fiorentina-esque window, that, if you ask me. There's a bit of movement out, bit of movement in, no big overhaul. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just run of the mill. It was one of those things that you heard about over the summer, but you didn't really pay much attention to unless you're from the region or support the team. Or I think people took note that Pioli came back, and that's about it. I don't think anyone was looking at this like, okay, they might do something. Now, I did say in our preseason predictions that there was a possibility of Moise Kean being the league top goal scorer at the end of the season, simply due to the fact that there weren't many big name strikers coming in. I can tell you after 6 games played, I don't think that's going to happen. And it's not because he's been bad. I just think that the team has overall gotten bad. I have seen 2 Fiorentina games this season. One was the 0-0 draw 2 weeks ago. Was it Torino? Was that who they?
I don't. I've got the results up here actually, so we can go through them. They've got. They drew 1-1 with Cagliari, first game of the season away from home. Not disastrous. It can be a tough place to go, but I think most have Cagliari in at least their bottom 5. Yeah. So not a great start. Yeah, they drew 0-0 away with Torino.
Okay.
The one you'll have seen is a 0-0 draw away against Pisa on 28th of September.
That's about right. Yeah, it was. Weeks ago, so
they look like easy start. Yeah,
I just don't think they look good, and I think a lot of it is Pioli. They play like Milan's Pioli, but without the Milan players. And I don't mean like the Milan's Pioli that was winning. I mean the post Napoli's Scudetto Pioli's Milan. Like they just haven't looked good, and it's what we all kind of said when he took over. To be honest, back in 2019, or no, I guess it was 2018, right? The second
2018-19 season,
yeah. That pre-Zlatan period of Pioli was not good. He was on the chopping block. He got saved by Zlatan's arrival and then the COVID break and allowing time to build up. But that's exactly what we're seeing.
Sorry,
was it 1920? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because COVID. That makes sense. Jeez, sorry.
Yeah.
It's 8 in the morning. It's 8:30 in the morning. Let me tell you.
What's my excuse?
I was up at like 2 a.m. last night because I got sucked into Instagram Reels. My fiance's out of town, so I just I don't have to go to bed. And I was just scrolling for hours, and then my alarm went off, and I said, "Oh, I have to record a podcast."
Cats away, mouse can play,
struggling. Yeah.
So the problem for Fiorentina so far has been their home form. They've lost all 3 games at home: 3-1 against Napoli, 2-1 against Como, and 2-1 against Roma most recently. The Como one's a bit of a worry, but the other 2 are no disgrace. I mean, Roma are top, Napoli are top. Those 2 are joint top. They've got a pretty tough run coming up though. Still, they've got obviously us on Sunday night, Bologna at home, Inter away, Lecce at home. I mean, that really should be their first win. If they don't get one before then. Genoa away, but then Juve and Atalanta. So between now and the end of November, they're basically playing most of the top 7. So it's a tough ask. It's a tough ask. Just looking at the team that they played for that last game against Pisa, the 0-0. No, that's not right, because that would be their second last game, wouldn't it? I want to look at the game that they played against Roma here to get the starting lineup. They lost that one 2-1. Moise Kean opened the scoring. Sula and Cristante scored in the 22nd and 30th minute, and that is how it would end. They played De Gea in goal, Pongracic, Mari, and Ranieri as the 3-man defence, Dodo and Gozens as the wing-backs, Mandragora and Caviglia as a midfield pairing, Fazzini, Goodmanson, and Kane as a front 3. Well, it's sort of like a 3-4-2-1, I guess. Do you know what? It's not that bad a team on paper. It certainly shouldn't be near the bottom end, I don't think.
They're better than 17.
As you said. Yeah. Yes. As you said, I think there's a bit of coaching question marks here. I mean, especially when they're able to bring a 25 million striker off the bench in Piccoli, although I don't agree with that fee. Sharon Dua came on. Pietro Camuzzo's not even a starter anymore. That's kind of a wild one. And Dzeko came off the bench, and Fortini, the left back, who we're supposedly tracking, actually. He's a young kid who looks to have a bright future. But yeah, no disgrace losing to Roma, I guess, who are on fire at the moment. But it's just that result bundled in together with such a bad start, and it leads to rumours of Pioli being sacked. So could we be the ones to deliver the axe wound again?
Likely. I think it'll happen. There's just this. I think I saw a set. So this was the first time in Serie A history, or at least in the modern era, where there was no managerial changes prior to this international window. And there's no way. Yeah, it's crazy. There's no way that continues after 7 games played if he still has 0 wins for a team that should be, as you said, roughly around Europa League. You know, they're currently in the Conference League, and that's the only win that Pioli has so far for Fiorentina has been Conference League qualifier, because they needed that, and then the first game, I guess, the other day. I mean, 2 games or just 1?
They've played just 1, and it was against Sigma Olomouc.
Oh, okay.
They beat 2-0 at home. Sigma Olomouc sounds like a fraternity.
Yes, it does.
Is that right? But you're right. They had to qualify against Policia Ziotomir, and they beat them 6-2 on aggregate, which you kind of expect for a team that doesn't exist with respect to this particular side, who have
Croatian police department.
Is that right? Oh no, the Ukraine.
That's what it sounds like.
Policia. Yeah. I can't show the badge, but they've basically copied the Wolverhampton Wanderers badge as well. So that's funny when you see these Eastern European teams and they just rip off a badge. So yeah, miserable start for Pioli, miserable start for Fiorentina. Tough few games to come, especially with them being in Europe. That's one thing we don't have to worry about. What would team be for this? Are you making any changes to the formula that has worked well? Stupinian can come back. He served his ban, but we don't know about his ankle at this point.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing to look at. Obviously, you can't take this game lightly because Pioli will have the added desire to beat us because former team. And we also lost to Cremonese early in the season. We're coming off a draw that we feel we should have won. So we can't take our foot off the gas here, but we do need to look at workload. Obviously, this is the last international break until March, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it is a long run of games here that's obviously going to include every big team because there's no breaks until the second half of the season when we flip, the home and away and all that stuff. I don't remember what it's called, but you know what I mean? So that's something we got to look into. And then with Pulisic, we got to find out what his injury's like. Leao, we got to figure out if he's actually fit to play. I guess we'll find that out tonight for the Portugal game. Estupinian, we got to know what's going on with him. I personally, if he's hurt even slightly, throw in Bartazaghi. He's looked good enough in the big games against Napoli and Juventus. He'll do just fine, if not great, against Fiorentina. I have no problem with that. I think he's earned it as well. Depending on the center backs, if anyone comes back a little tired, maybe you throw De Winter in there also. I don't know if he got called up, but I would imagine not.
He did, but he was not named in the matchday squad for their first game, Belgium. And they're kind of in shit in terms of qualification. They're
Let me ask you this. Who were the three that stayed behind that didn't get called up from our outfield players?
Tomori will be one.
Okay, so he'll play.
Ricci didn't get called up. Who's the last one? Nkunku did, didn't he?
I don't know.
I mean, Odogu, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Well, I guess out of those bunch, I would start Tomori, obviously. And then maybe Ricci over Modric.
Fofana. Fofana, sorry. He didn't get called up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, he'll start as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the team sets itself for the most part. You just got to manage those injuries. That's all.
I've got something bold to suggest here. Their back three is Pongracic, Mari, and Ranieri. Slow back three.
So you're saying
Start Nkunku and Leao. Yeah, do it. I think Pulisic is if it's right that he's got a swollen ankle and Pochettino's played him anyway, I doubt that's going to have gone down. And then you've got the fact that you will only train on Friday. He'll fly back on Thursday. I never think that you should risk players like that anyway. That is the time you're going to do damage to them if they've just had a long haul flight and one training session, and they're probably knackered as well with jet lag and blah blah blah. So I'd maybe not risk him and Jimenez, and I would start Leao and Nkunku, and I would get them to run in between those two outside centre backs all game, and hope that Modric and Rabiot and the wing backs can find them with service.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I just pulled up the results of that USA game last night. Because Tucker, I just don't know. So,
didn't know that.
Of course, they went behind early, 24th minute Ecuador goal. And then they equalized in the 71st, Florian Balogun, interesting. But then they brought Pulisic on in the 73rd. So I guess his idea is he wanted to go for the win, but also it's a friendly. What are you doing? I would get it if they were down and they said, okay, we need a goal here, and this was a relevant game. But obviously, we're the host of the World Cup. So
I think
doesn't matter.
He's been a bit of a dickhead so far, hasn't he, Pochettino, from what I gather?
Yes.
Some of his comments are very spiky, and his results are not there, are they, really?
No. Look, I mean, I could tell you from firsthand experience, the U.S. Federation sucks. They do. It's poorly ran. The whole system here is dog shit, and I could see why someone comes over from Europe who's used to higher quality everything and then just saying, like, what the hell is going on? And this is a mess. And being disgruntled with all of it.
Yeah.
But why are we risking the best player that we've ever had for the country for a friendly against Ecuador? No disrespect, but I don't think let me check what the attendance was, because I don't think anyone gives a shit.
I know it was, because I've written about it this morning, obviously, with the injury stuff. I know it was played in Austin, Texas.
It was 100% capacity, 20,738.
Who plays there?
Austin FC.
Is that an MLS team?
Yeah.
Right. But they've not always been, have they?
No, they're one of the newer ones. I think 2018 was their first year, maybe 2017. But fun fact, Christian Pulisic's cousin made his professional debut as an Austin FC player.
Wow. Good stat. I like it.
So,
got another stat for you.
Okay.
Out of 23 games that Pioli has faced Allegri in across all clubs, how many has he won?
You're going to have to ask me that one more time. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I worded that poorly. Pioli has faced Allegri as a manager 23 times. Obviously, not all at Milan, other clubs as well. How many of those 23 games has he won? Obviously, you're going to have to guess because you don't remember what happened when Chievo played his Bologna or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just assuming he lost those, and I'm assuming his only wins were the couple at the end with Milan. But I know there were a lot of 0-0s as well, so I'm going to say 2.
Well done. 10 points to you, mate. It was indeed the 2022-23 double that we did over them, the 2-0 at home and the 1-0 away. Yeah, there you go. 2 wins against Allegri. For those who were thinking, what about that home win against them? What about the 3-0 away win? Obviously, Allegri was not there. So,
yeah. 4-2 was Maurizio Sarri's season at Juventus.
Yeah, indeed it was. So, yeah, it doesn't fill him with a lot of confidence, but he won 2 of the last 4 meetings, right? So he's on top. He's on top.
He's objectively the worst Juventus squad in the last 2 decades, probably. So.
Oh, did I enjoy those wins though?
I celebrated. Let me tell you,
as if we'd beaten the Avengers Juve team of Conte or whatever. Prediction:
3-0 Milan.
3-0. Okay.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, they're struggling to score. They're struggling to keep goals out. Don't know. I think the Pioli factor is. I don't know. Part of me thinks that it's like he's bound to make it a tough game. I still think we're going to win 2-1. I'll go 2-1, but I would love another clean sheet. Sign me up for that all day.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I'm confident in this matchup for us. And fingers crossed that the lads deliver, because what I noticed that there were some other quite interesting games. I think Roma-Inter is up this weekend, which is good for us because, one or both of those is going to drop points. And we could do with that, to be honest. And yeah, I can't get onto the fucking fixtures now, but whatever. Be a nice chance to gain potentially on some teams.
I think Napoli play an easy team. Let me just look. Torino. So depends on how you want to look at it, but yeah.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Sorry. No, I'm just I discovered a feature on the desktop side of FotMob. You don't have to click on the team to see their next fixture. It's just to the right of their form when you look at the table. So that's interesting.
All right.
So,
yeah.
Como and Juve, that's a good one. Lazio Atalanta, that's a good one. These are all the next fixtures.
Oh yeah.
Udinese Cremonese, that's a nice little mid-table battle.
Little battle of the Aces.
Yeah. That's about nice relegation fight. Pisa and Hellas Verona.
Those could be big points on offer there.
Yeah, for them it's massive. I won't watch, but exciting.
I'm just looking at the week after as well. My goodness, we've got Pisa at home, Napoli Inter. So this is where Inter start getting properly tested, in it. I think a bit too much.
They did lose 2 in a row. Who was that against? I don't remember.
Udinese and Juve.
Yeah. In that Juve game. What a game that was. The fact that
hell of a game.
We were unable to get a goal. It's
so frustrating. I was talking to someone about this earlier and saying, actually, normally when time passes, you sort of settle down about a result and you just sort of wipe it from memory if it's a bad one or you don't win, basically. But with that Juve game, I've just found myself getting more and more upset that we didn't find a way to win that for so many reasons. But to not score and
I know there are a lot of things going against us going into it, but I do feel like at the end of the season, we're going to look back at that as 2 points dropped.
Yeah, I mean, they had Rugani starting as the middle centre-back. Like, how did we not score? Yeah. But anyway, water under the bridge. Let's do some questions. I did say in the Discord that this was going to be a bit of a question special, and I wanted to deliver on that. So one guy in particular, I'll just get him up on my phone because it's easier. One guy in particular, SHXDWZ, sent in a big list of questions, and they're quite good. So we'll go through them. Which of our centre backs has the highest ceiling?
De Winter. You're gonna say Gabbia.
Oh, that is a good one, isn't it? You can make a case for any of them. I think maybe Tomori
not Pavlovic.
Well, maybe Pavlovic has been quite a bit better this season, though, hasn't he? And he's only 23.
Yeah,
24.
but the highest ceiling? I don't know.
Highest ceiling. Yeah, I don't know. Will he always be erratic? I'll say Gabbia to rep my boy, but I think De Winter is a very solid pick. Tomori's inconsistency in the last couple of years will probably hold him back a bit in becoming an elite player, and he's also like 27, 28 now. Yeah. Do you think Modric will extend for another season?
It depends on the end of the season result. You know, if we miss Champions League, well, you know what? I think he'll extend regardless, and unless we are like mid-table, 10th place. You know, if we really drop off, he might say this shit ain't worth it. If we just barely miss out, he'll say I could get us there. If we win something, he might do it again, or he might say, that's a good way to end it. You know, so I don't know. I hope he extends. I think he will. I think he will for the sole purpose of playing the World Cup this summer.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because if he just retired, well, I guess my thought is he's retiring at Milan, right? I think everyone's on the same page there.
I think so. Although he has spoken about doing a final year at Dinamo Zagreb. So it might be like year at Milan, do the World Cup, ride off into the sunset. But I think if he keeps playing at this level, he will have offers from other top clubs, like genuinely, even if it was just playing once every 2 or 3 games, like he can all coming off the bench. Whereas with us, he's been thrust like right into the direct middle of what we're doing. Yep. So yeah, could he do another year? Could he do another year as things are at the moment? He's missed 9 minutes across 6 games in the league so far. No, I don't think this is sustainable because the idea is right that we're back in the Champions League or back in European football as a bare minimum. So then does he become a once in every 2 games starter? You know, is that can you build a team around that? I don't know.
It's interesting because there's a good chance if we do make the Champions League that we see another summer window with double-digit signings because we have so limited options that if you now add minimum 8 more games, you need to.
Yeah, like, I wonder if we've already got a Modric succession plan in place. Sure. You would hope we do, but is there a target that we have in mind? Do we think Richie can learn from him for a year and he'll sort of be drip fed in and then like the reins will be given to him? I don't know, but that is interesting. I mean, we've only had him for 8 games, so we can't be talking about the end just yet. And he may yet do another season. If you to ask me, my gut would probably be no, but if he keeps playing like this, then I think the offer will be on the table. And then if he does walk away for whatever reasons, which I'm sure would be understandable, what do we do then? Because someone of this impact, I mean, he's number 1 in virtually every midfield / passing stat in Serie A. You know, he's a freak. He's pissing all over Barella at the age of 40. Like,
yeah. If we finish, like, say, 2nd place, just narrowly miss out on the Scudetto, and we tell him, hey, we have this pre-agreement with Robert Lewandowski and Bernardo Silva, maybe all of a sudden he goes, with those guys helping out, I could win Milan the title and then sail off. And then he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Or maybe we win it, and then we tell him we bring in these guys, and he goes, I can go back to back. Like, the thing is with Modric is he is such a winner that you never know what's going to make him say, like, this is the perfect ending, or can I do it again? You know, like, I could see him just saying, yeah, let's run it.
I think it was Ambrosini, or it might have been Donadoni, said in midweek, like, I am absolutely convinced that he can and will play another 3 or 4 years. It's just how many of those are at Milan. Like, he genuinely thinks the way he looks after himself, but also the way he's kind of adapted his game, especially this season in that deeper role. And I had my doubts about it. I was vocal about the idea that he shouldn't be the one sitting in front of the defence, but it's kind of worked a different way in and out of possession. But just the way that he's like making sure he doesn't have to run, or he only runs when it's necessary. Like, it is really, really.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying it so much. I'm enjoying having him so much, and I'm not surprised he's the highest selling shirt. Not surprised he's leading all these stats. He's literally the best midfielder in the league. There it is. Yeah. You didn't think of getting Richie 4 on the back like Isaac?
Isaac loves a backup t-shirt.
Fringe player.
Yeah, I love a new signing that flops. If you were to open up this closet back here, there's multiple like of those big containers just filled with jerseys. Just about every shirt is a player that left real quick. I got like Higuain. I got Abraham somewhere up there. Like, I got some crazy ones. Yeah.
Kind of related to something that you mentioned a couple of minutes ago there. Do you think Lewandowski signing would benefit or hurt the club?
Oh, it'd benefit. We would have to switch to a 4-3-3. There's no way you sign him and bench, which would essentially be punish Leao or Pulisic, unless one of them has made it clear they're leaving. But I don't see it. I think they're. I mean, we'll find out. Pulisic's renewal hasn't happened. It should. Maybe he's thinking he wants to, I don't know, play elsewhere after the World Cup. I don't know. I doubt it. I feel like he's in a good spot.
He gave that interview, didn't he, in the past few days, where he said he's really happy and wants to stay and win at the club for years. And then Matteo Moretto said he's not thinking of going anywhere else. His priority is to stay with Milan. So that is a good indication, because there was some more negative stuff coming out during the chaos of last season about like he ain't renewing, not while it's like this. But I do think there's such a beautiful relationship there, like with him and the club, as in like there's an appreciation for the fact that we kind of picked him up when he was down and, you know, not doing his best at Chelsea, but he's like catapulted to stardom, but now he wants to drag the club along. So like, I just love him. And he's the Serie A MVP for September.
Yeah. I feel like every club he's been at, he's always had an asterisk next to his name, because it's like, yeah, he's that American. We sign up for shirts. You know, he's never been that guy. And that was the same criticism he received when we signed him before his first game with us. Immediately hit the ground running, and obviously that plays into your favor. But at Milan, he's that guy. And if you look, he's now, I believe he has more goals, more assists than anywhere else for any other club in his career. I think he still has more appearances for Chelsea, probably just based on virtue of, you know, how many years he was there. Yeah, but it's got to be getting close, right? Because he was a bench player for a lot of those years, and he's
had
been
some injury problems.
Starter for us. So we're nearing a point in his career where, when he retires, at the end of the day, and people start reminiscing about players from, you know, their youth or whatever, how they watched playing, they're going to view Christian Pulisic as an AC Milan player.
Yeah.
And yes, he won the Champions League with Chelsea, but I think people are going to look back post his retirement in 10, 15 years, whatever it may be, maybe less. And they're going to say, oh yeah, I forgot he was at Chelsea. You know, I forgot he was a Dortmund player. And they're just going to know, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the Milan legend, you know. And he may never break into that echelon for Milan with the, you know, the Van Bastens or the Maldinis or anyone of that nature, but he'll be up there. And especially for Americans, I mean, I think he's already eclipsed any other American that's ever played the game, so.
Yeah, definitely. And it's how he sees it as well, you know. I think we are already at the point where when he does reflect on his career in 10, 15 years, he will say that, you know, we were perhaps his most important. You know, like Ibra said the same. I know it's not quite the same in what they've achieved to this point in terms of trophies and stuff, but Ibra kind of said, yeah, they were the club that made me fall in love with football again. I think Pulisic would probably be saying the same. The Lewandowski question, very briefly. I still can't wrap my head around this. I just don't know how we make the money work. You know, he gets a lot. And Would I love him here? Yes, I think he would catapult our attack, and I could see him scoring a lot of goals in Serie A. I mean, look at the chances that we create and we constantly spurn. He would be that lethal finisher that we need. He's a striker of international recognition. The thing is, I guess he means in terms of hurting the club, it would be blowing up the wage structure to bring him in, because he's going to have offers from Saudi, right? He's going to have, maybe even MLS, maybe even Barca will put forward a renewal offer or whatever. I would absolutely have him in a heartbeat, is what I'm trying to say. But I just can't think about it at the moment, because I just don't see how we make it work.
Yeah, I know there was an interview that I believe his wife gave a few years ago where they said that they would like to end up in LA specifically. And there's 2 MLS clubs in LA. So I wouldn't be shocked, especially knowing that Marco Reus is at the Galaxy. Maybe he just wants to team up, with his boy back in the day. Recreate that video of them smiling at each other pre-game, or go rivals again, go to LAFC. Who is it? Oh, no one's there anymore. It was Bale. He retired. It was Giroud. He left. So I don't know. They need a star now, so it'll be him.
Yeah, let's get Levy here anyway. It's sort of similar with the Bernardo Silva thing, to be honest. I'm like, would absolutely have, would be a brilliant playmaker to have. Could play in a midfield 3 or a bit further forward, blah, blah, blah. But Saudi clubs have come in before, PSG have come in before, so it's like, how us? But who knows? I
think that's what hurt Milan the most in the 2010s is the emergence of clubs like PSG, and obviously Saudi came much later, but Saudi clubs, the Chinese Super League, where you could just offer these world-class players on the tail end of their careers a shit ton of money, and they go, let me just cash out. Because that was Milan's strategy in the 80s.
We did the same. We did the same in the 2010s, though, with like Torres and SCN and players that were just like clearly cut. Alex, but he was actually good for us. Menez, we signed on a free from PSG. We were just kind of like,
we've always done it.
We can do it. And
it's
got
just
us like 9th.
We weren't getting the highest caliber of them anymore. Like in the early 2000s, it was like, let's get R9. We were getting real players, and in the 2010s, it was like, well, Fernando Torres hasn't scored a goal in 6 years, but let's bring him in.
Oh yeah, I did have a Torres shirt. I think.
Oh
I was
yeah,
convinced he was going to be good.
He scored his debut. I was sold.
If we officially get everything done for this stadium before the season ends and we finish in the top 3, do you think Cardinale will sell?
No.
No. In a word, no, I don't. I think it has to be a bit further down the line before the stadium.
The stadium's got to be done. That's the selling point for him.
Or like in the final it doesn't have to be. I mean, someone could come in and, in theory, take over the financial commitments of the stadium, because it's going to be a loan, right? I mean, the vehicle's already been set up to loan the money from a big bank, and of course, a new owner can come in and take on debts. That is basically how every single takeover has to work. But it's what it does to the valuation of a club. My theory is that the moment that you start putting bricks in the ground, and as a reminder, AJ will be putting the first brick in the ground for the new San Siro. Once that happens, I think the club's valuation will go up quite a lot, because although the stadium won't be ready in theory until 2031, it's in process of being built, right? In the same way that Spurs' value went up when their new stadium started being constructed. So that may play a part. I still think that our eventual sale will be via the method of someone purchasing a minority stake that then gets converted into majority / full ownership. So I think we could get some form of equity investment. Might be from a Middle Eastern place, but it could be from another big American. I don't know. There's no names for anybody out there. It could be anything. But Cardinale has said repeatedly he's open to equity, to selling off equity. And then the only way that could become anything is for it to be converted into a controlling majority. So that's probably the way it'll happen. And I think it'll be minimum 3 years, could be 5, could be 10. Because, if he sees this project through with the stadium, he'll probably want to be around to milk the rewards as well, right? So I would anyway. How do you think this team would perform in the Champions League this season, given our current form?
I think better than last year. I think we maybe get that automatic qualification. I mean, a lot of it comes down to the draw, and the draw now is so random. Like, it's not the pot that you're in doesn't matter. You're going to have 2 teams from pot one, 2 teams from pot two, so on.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on how you do. You have to win one of those games to go through. I mean, we did it last year against Real Madrid and PSG.
Yeah, we beat Real Madrid.
Yeah. We beat PSG the year prior before the new format. We beat Real Madrid, which got us where we were. We were, minutes away from direct qualification, and we fumbled it.
Yeah, we did.
So we're better than the team we were last year. I can promise you that. So I think we would get immediate qualification, but it just comes down to who you draw. That's it.
And like, are we just saying how would our current first choice starting 11 fare if they played every game in the entire, like, would injuries come into the equation here because our squad depth isn't there to play 2 games a week at the moment, with 19 outfield players? I think if you put our current squad into the Champions League, we probably finish in that middle part again. But I think we'd have a better chance in knockout stages of securing some scalps because Allegri's a better coach. You go into any game with Allegri and a strong enough team, and you've got a chance against anybody. But yeah, no, that's an interesting question. Okay, I'm going to move on here to Kieran's question. If our players weren't footballers, what jobs do you think they'd have? He says Allegri would definitely be one of those nightmarish airport staff who terrorizes you when you can't follow the instructions properly.
That's funny as hell.
That's spot on. Spot on.
Leao would be a Twitch streamer.
Yes.
Already is. So that's where he would go.
Loftus-Cheek model, if not already.
Yeah, he would be a model. I can see that.
Brilliant, man.
Pavlovich would be a hitman. He would commit crime.
Spot on. Gabbia would be an accountant because he's like really sensible and pragmatic.
Yeah,
I get the vibe. I don't know any of these guys personally.
Salamakers would be good shout. Bob Ross.
Really good one.
Salamakers would be a breakdancer. I could just see him being on the streets doing that. I don't know why.
Or part of like a Beastie Boys tribute act or something because he loves his hip hop, doesn't he? Jimenez strikes me as a bartender.
No, he's too religious. I think he would be. I think he'd be a pastor.
Yeah.
Probably do that. I don't know what Pulisic would be. Probably something very mild. He'd probably just have an office job, man. He'd work for the government. He would be just a government, lackey, someone in there.
Yeah, Maignan. Well, I mean, my first thought is like police officer because everyone says he's a superhero. You know what I mean? Like law enforcement, something like that. Tamori seems really funny. He could be a stand-up comedian, Tamori. I think his banter's meant to be pretty good. I like that. That's a good question. JT Physio, if Maignan signs a pre-contract at another club come January, would you be petty like me and sit him out for the rest of the season? If no, what if that pre-contract was with Juve or Inter? Would that sway your decision?
No. We're in a title race. We need him. If he signs a pre-contract with Inter and Juve, he's a bitch. Like I don't like it, but he won't. I saw that Gazette article. It's bullshit. I guarantee you it's bullshit. That's just how. Go back to every international break. The first 2-3 days, check every article about Milan. You will find one that is extremely negative, that sounds like it's the end of the world. Every single time, it's just a stir shit because they know that we are that team and we're the ones that need to be disrupted if you want to stop us. So it's all made up. Now, is he going to leave this summer? Yeah, I think so. But I don't think it'd be to Juve. He wouldn't do that to us.
I mean, Moretto gave a really good... I know I name drop him multiple times per episode, but for me, he's the numero uno when it comes to Milan news, Milanista and all that. He gave a really good update today on Fabrizio Romano's YouTube channel where he basically said, Milan are relying on Allegri to convince him, by saying, you're so important, I'm going to be sticking around a while, want you to be part of these plans, we're going to be fighting for titles again, all the things that you would put forward in a pitch. At the moment, renewal talks are not moving forward. At the moment, the most likely scenario is that he leaves on a free, but at the end of the season. A sale in January can't be fully ruled out. but the most likely destination either for January or for June remains the Premier League. Like, that's where he'd go and make his money. Juve won't offer him what Chelsea would offer him, and he'd just go there, I think. He wanted to go there in the summer. There's no secret about that. I think it would be a shame if it all kind of unfolded that way. A very unceremonious ending to his Milan story. But there is also the sort of, what they call it, is it a parable? Like, he came in to replace someone who decided they didn't want to be here anymore and left on a free, and then we have to do the same again with Maignan. There would be some symmetry with that. However, my hope is still that Allegri manages to convince him to stay on sensible terms. If not, I still believe he's possibly replaceable. I do.
Hey, after that miracle save against Juve, he could have the 7 mil if that's what he's asking for. That save was insane.
Got a hot take about that, actually.
If we win the Scudetto by 1 point, he won it.
I like that. Yeah. I was trying to think of something else that has gone well for us this season, but I can't. Obviously, things have gone well, but no one moment. Yeah, okay, that's it. Maignan's won us the league and therefore deserves 10 million a year. I'll click that up. Merlin Finker, seeing this management, I won't be surprised by us selling another key player next summer window. Who do you think it would be leaving, and who would be your ideal replacement? And Kemin, as a follow-up, says, should we explore selling Leao this summer and use the funds to invest in striker and wing-backs?
That was the name I was going to pick. If we're bringing in Lewandowski, big if Santi starts firing, if Nkunku comes good, if Allegri still wants to do this 3-5-2, and Leao's the only one who's struggling with it, and that's a lot of ifs. It's a huge fucking if this happens, then this. It was a lot of that.
Thing.
But that's one way to look at it. I think that's one of the few scenarios where Leao would be the name that comes up. I don't think he's reached the heights of what he's been expected, and if this season gets worse, which we are in hot form and we haven't needed him this season, which is great. But when he came on, and I think he's only played 48 minutes or something like that so far this season. So huge asterisks, and he gets a lot of grace right now because of his injury.
Yeah.
But if he can't do the second striker thing, and I think he can because we saw it in preseason. But if he can't do it, then yeah, that's the guy you sacrifice.
Yeah. I think some of the and I'm always conscious of the fact that we sometimes fuel it a little bit because we have to report what's being said by pundits, by the papers and things like that. But I think the reaction to the Juventus cameo that Leao had has been so over the top. Like, I know the story, and it's been confirmed by all the reliable sources. The story is that he was pretty much reprimanded in the dressing room by Allegri after the game for his attitude. It wasn't so much the missed chances, those can happen. He'd shout at Jimenez every week if that were the case. But it's more so the fact that he just didn't look involved in the game aside from those moments. That's what the story is. But to me, it's like, I was happy to see him in those positions. I was happy to see him make that run to get in behind and stretch. And Modric, he's going to play those passes 9 out of 10 straight to his feet. And we will score goals that way, 100%. It's just that he isn't in rhythm. Like, someone put a side-by-side of him. I can't remember which game it was, but he gets the same through ball and he hits it first time and it goes in at the near post. And it's like, that's the difference between a player who was confident in that moment versus someone who has played like 13 minutes in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. And I'm nowhere near writing off this Leao. People calling it an experiment. I don't even think it is an experiment. I think this is, yes, it's a decisive season for Rafa, no doubt about it. It's a bit of a crossroads. But if Leao's, Allegri's going to get the most out of him, I strongly believe that. I think he is.
It'll come good. And how many times over preseason did I say that I think Modric is just going to play these through balls to a waiting Leao, and he's going to break away and score on the counter, He's going to do that. Like you said, he's been in the position. He's scored it. It's just he's played no minutes. He's rusty. He's injured. I don't think he's at 100%. I don't think he was ready to come back. Maybe we thought he was, and that's why we put him in. or is because we said, okay, we have an opportunity to win this game against Juve.
Yeah.
Let's take our chances. I get that. I don't think it was the wrong decision to bring him on. But I think in hindsight, we could say he probably wasn't ready, and that's okay because it's been a 6 to 7 week injury. I mean, there was even an international break in there. So, yeah, do give him time. The only thing is that if he fails, then yeah, that's the guy you look to sell. I don't appreciate him being reprimanded for the performance if you're seeing as the attitude, and I don't know what his attitude was post game. I was in the locker room. But one thing I did notice, and again, it's really not that telling, but it was something that a lot of people picked out on social media. After the game, Leao posted a happy birthday, Teo. After the game, Pulisic posted an apology for missing a penalty.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference of how they're being treated. People are basically patting Pulisic on the back and saying, hey, buddy, it's okay. You know, like the MasterChef Junior, where Gordon's yelling at the adult and then really nice to the kid. It's kind of like that, but it's what you see in the reaction. And we don't see Leao in the locker room. We don't know what's actually being said or how he's behaving, but it's like when people got mad at us for losing a game and then Calabria on his birthday posted a birthday dinner. And it was like, how dare you do that? I thought that was ridiculous because it was his birthday, just like it is Teo's birthday. But it's the same situation, and you see the difference with Pulisic, who's been our savior since Leao's been injured, miss a penalty that would have been a game winner, and say, "I'm sorry, I'll do better. I won't let you down again."
You said he was like, didn't you say he was like devastated to let the club down? I mean,
and no one was holding him accountable because we're in such good form. It's not like we were in bad form and this was our one opportunity to get on the board. You know, we've won every game. He was player of the month and he missed one penalty, second in his entire career, first one not on target in his entire career, and he's posting apologies on social media. That's how much it means to him.
That none of us asked for.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it doesn't mean the same amount to Leao, but he didn't apologize for missing. You don't have to. That's the big caveat. It's just because you don't have to do something doesn't mean you're not going to be put under a microscope when your counterpart does do something, you know?
It's very well said.
It's a double standard, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah. To circle back to the original question, I was just thinking through what would be our first choice starting lineup, and actually I realised that there is no real strong contender, is there, at the moment? Because Maignan's contract's up, so he wouldn't be a big sale. Tomori, probably because of his age and recent inconsistency, I can't see him being a massive sale. And also, it seems like he really wants to stay. He's actually rejected Spurs and rejected Juve and stuff. Gabby ain't going anywhere. Pavlovic, I don't see him being a big money sale, although there has apparently been interest from Crystal Palace to replace Gahey. So maybe that's one to watch. Salamakers, I don't see him being a big sale.
We're right now. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Estupinian on the other wing, no. Modric, no, for obvious reasons. Rabiot, no, because of age. Fofana ain't a star. RLC ain't a star. Richie can't even get a game at the moment. And Jashari's just arrived and has had a setback, so I don't see him as being a big sale candidate. Leao is maybe the only one, but is he even a star in this team, in this particular team at present? You know, he'll probably score a hat-trick against Fiorentina now. He loves playing Fiorentina, doesn't he? Jimenez ain't happening, is it? Not while he's still on 0 league goals. Pulisic is probably the obvious one, but again, the signs are positive, so I don't see it with him either. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Reinders was like, as the season was progressing, you're like, oh, I don't like this. You know, the Athletic are reporting that Man City are keeping an eye on him, and I'm like, please don't go and score 15 goals this season, and then he does, and it's like, fucking hell, he's going. But yeah, there's no one. I don't know. Maybe if we're storming away with the league or whatever, it will become apparent that there's a queue of clubs lining up for players. But that's it. It's all our questions, and it brings us perfectly to just about the hour mark. Hope you enjoyed this. Bit of a different one, question heavy, but always good to engage with the community and to cover as many topics as we can, especially while it's international break. As mentioned, Fiorentina Sunday, so we're back early next week, which is next week for us. But yeah, we're back early next week after the Fiorentina game to recap that one on the main pod, and then we will have another bonus pod later in the week. But in the meantime, I've been your host, Ollie Fisher. Find me on Twitter at Ollie Fisher. AJ, cheers for joining.
See you guys next time. I don't know why I did a thumbs up.
Double thumbs up as well. Have a fantastic week, everybody.